When you do take a historical approach, look at the archaeological evidence for events or people described in the Bible, it's very hard to find corroborating evidence. Was there an exodus from Egypt? No, there wasn't an exodus.
Alright, let's first pretend there isn't any evidence for the Exodus. So what? If I've got 100 events recorded in the Bible, and 90 of them have historical corroboration, what exactly do you think you're proving by focusing on the 10 that don't? And, conveniently ignoring the other 90, by the way. As the old saying goes, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Besides, I take issue with your suggestion that there's no evidence. I mean, I'll agree that we haven't discovered any specific extra-biblical references to it, but that's hardly surprising considering Egyptian pharaohs weren't exactly in the habit of recording their humiliating defeats. But there is a good amount of circumstantial evidence. Explain for me why the biblical account doesn't use the typical Hebrew word for river when describing the Nile, but rather a transliteration of the Egyptian word. Not exactly what we'd expect if it was made up by Jews hundreds of years later. And there are a lot more Egyptian words used besides that one. Or how about Papyrus Brooklyn 35.1446, discovered in Egypt, and listing the names of 95 servants of an Egyptian noblewoman. Many of those names were Hebrew, and there's plenty more evidence where that came from. The point is that to just sit back and claim there is no evidence that the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt or had this grand exodus is just plain to ignore the evidence that is out there. Now we can argue whether it's enough, but no rational person can argue that it's not there.